Psychology in Seattle.
Okay, so let's try this again. This is the 9th installment in the Adventures of Grollo and Cruddy, in which we demonstrate Dungeons and Dragons therapy. This is the 9th episode in a series of 9. And if you want to hear, if you want to listen to this and you haven't heard the other episodes, go to the website. There's a page there that's labeled Dungeons and Dragons, and listen to 1 through 8, and then listen to this one. And we are demonstrating how Game to Grow uses Dungeons and Dragons for therapeutic uses and educational uses. It's even if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, this is a particular style that is modified for use in therapy and group therapy and in education and social skills development and all those kinds of things. So if you want more information, go to gametogrow.org. And this is the Psychology in Seattle podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kirk Hanna. I'm a therapist and a professor and someone who gets frustrated when my software doesn't work and we record for half an hour and then we have to start all over again. Who are you, Humberto?
Not that would ever happen. My name is Humberto Castañeda, and I play Grollo the Cruel in this great adventure of ours.
My name is Adam Davis. I'm one of the executive directors of Game to Grow. I'm also playing Shoosh, the Tiefling Bard.
My name is Adam Johns. I'm the other executive director of Game to Grow, and I am your chipper and cheery dungeon master for this Hardy Boys gang of adventurers.
So, start us off, Adam. Usually you start us off with a question.
That's true. I've got a check-in question for you guys.
Oh, no, not one of these, like, what are you afraid of kind of things.
Yes, my check-in question today is... what is something that you're afraid of?
Oh, what? What are the odds?
So we've already answered these questions and lost the audio. So we're trying to act spontaneous.
Thrain, why didn't you kick us off this time?
So in real life, I'm afraid of technology not working and losing audio. It's happened. We've now made 910 episodes. It's happened 7 times in those 900 times, and it's always it's typically when I'm doing something odd, like recording 4 people. It's just, there's just something about, the oddity of the situation that will raise the risk or something. And
because it's 2019 and there's no way that computers could handle 4 people.
Gag me with a spoon.
Too many people.
But what I said earlier that I'm afraid of is death, as I've talked about in the podcast before. I am afraid that there is no afterlife. If there's an afterlife, then hooray, then bring it on. But if there's not, then it seems like a depressing thing that everyone I've loved and all the animals I've loved and everyone I will ever love will just drop off the face of the planet, and that makes me sad. So that's a fear.
Well, what if the afterlife is everyone that you know, all the pets, everything, they're all at a great party with the best booze and everything, but you're not invited. Oh. You're like on the outside looking in.
You're like outside the house, and you can see
Hello?
you're like in the bushes or
Hello?
whatever.
And you can see that they're happy.
I take it. It's better than nothing.
Your high school girlfriend and your college girlfriend are both at that party, and then you're like,
oh no, are they talking about me?
Yeah, maybe I should go to a different party.
Oh my God. I just had like a brilliant idea for a movie, you guys. You've heard of like Limbo and what's the Purgatory and stuff like that? What if there was a movie where there's all these people in limbo and life is miserable, and then one day someone comes by and it's like, why should we be miserable? Let's throw a big party. But then the demons from hell come up and say, no parties, and then they kill them all.
I am now on Groundhog Day level Bill Murray anger of having to listen to Humberto riff on the same joke the second time. And what my character is afraid of is, as I said before, Grollo and or Shoosh dying, because he considers himself to be a priest of life and justice, and he considers it his job to keep them alive, and so it would be
responsibility.
And he thinks of both of them. This is something I didn't say last time, as slightly irresponsible, and so he's worried that they're gonna fall off a cliff and go into the abyss. What about you, Berto?
Well, let's see. In real life, I am afraid of not reaching my full potential. So, meaning it's sort of like, dying before I can reach my full potential. So, I want to unleash the beast within. And that means that, I want to be able to hit a point in my life where I'm like, yes, that's what I was put on this earth for. I'm finally doing it. Even if everyone around me is like, dude, no unleashing here. This is a no, what was your thing before? A no unleash party?
It's a leash only zone.
Leash only zone. Anyways, and so that's my personal fear.
Yeah.
And then Grollo, I mentioned before he's afraid of fire. And that is true, but that's sort of like the surface fear. Underneath that, his biggest fear is actually not avenging his village that he was born in from the cruelty that was inflicted by his father and his gang. And that involved fire. So if you asked him casually, like, Grollo, what are you afraid of? He would probably be like, oh, nothing. Maybe a little fire or something like that. And then if you caught him in the right mood at the right time with just the right amount of booze and a leap pie on his lap, he might say something along the lines of like, I sure hope I can avenge my village before it's too late or something like that. But if you knew, that would mean really that that's his biggest fear, which is interesting because for me, we've talked about before how like these fears or these things translate between the game and real life. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really plan it this way, but there is sort of a metaphor here for me. I was born in a different village. I was born in Colombia, and my family and friends are still there. And I left to come here, and I started a new life. So part of my fear is like disappointing that village and not unleashing my full potential to redeem that village, which is sort of kind of the same kind of thing, Yeah, so that's mine.
Awesome. Well, I was actually going to answer with something like really basic, like being afraid of spiders or something like that.
I used to be afraid of spiders.
But because of the good peer modeling that we just had, I'm actually going to go a little bit deeper. This last weekend I went to go see one of my college professors retire. And there was like 200 people in the audience who came to observe and recognize his career and the impact they had. And I was sitting there, and I was thinking about the times that I was a teacher, and some of the times when I've worked and run groups and tried to serve the mental health of young people. And there were times when I would work 13 to 20 hour days, just wondering if what I was doing was making a difference. And I think my fear, and I think this is also similar for Shoosh, is this fear of being irrelevant, of not actually making a difference. So maybe sort of like what you were saying. But like I work really hard to make a difference, and I think my biggest fear is that I'm not. Yeah. So I think that's probably almost 100% true for me, and probably really true for Shoosh also. I think Shoosh really wants to matter, wants to belong. I think he really fears that his life will end with nothing meaningful happening. So the idea that he's part of a group of heroes or a band that people are going to like sing their songs, whatever capacity he can have a legacy, I think Shoosh really wants that too.
That sounds like a dumb, irrelevant fear to me. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. The knives are out. All right.
So really quick question on this. What do you envision as that thing? Like, what would be the threshold for you to feel like, all right, I wasn't irrelevant?
That's my Sisyphean task to figure out. That's the work.
Because for me, it's pretty simple. I just need I need a little child with a red balloon to come up to me and let me pop that balloon. And that's it. That's it. I'll be happy. I will have unleashed my full potential.
right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might need to retire and then have like a ceremony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What if there was no one at your ceremony?
But like one person? And so if I went over to that one person and that one person told me that I made a big impact on them and that they were like Albert Einstein or something,
well,
and they were like really amazing.
No, that would be a ridiculous plot for a movie, dude.
No, you'd be like, man, you're alive?
I thought I had your poster on my wall in college.
You're so creative. I love the ideas you come up with. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm making movie scripts, actually. I just want to cut, though.
I wish people knew all the little inside jokes.
In case this is totally not funny to you, it was told originally and also not funny during the first time we recorded this.
There's a different dimension in which this amazing podcast was already recorded, and it was 20 times better.
Yeah. Imagine that you listen to this, but But all that stuff already happened, and now this is just like a commentary on that.
Yeah, you're watching the director's commentary.
You're watching without ever having to see the
Without having seen the movie. Yeah, imagine it's like, this scene was one of our favorites to film. And you're like, what scene? I don't know what happens.
I kind of now want to watch a movie that I've never
Start
seen,
off with
starting with the director's commentary.
Actually, what if you only heard it? You don't even, because,
Yeah.
you know, when you're watching, you usually watch the movie with the, what if
Yeah.
you just heard the commentary?
Right, and
That'd
I'm
be
like, I don't
trippy.
know what's happening in this moment. I think a fear that I have is I'm now a father. My daughter's a year and a half old, and people used to tell me before I had a daughter that when you have a kid, your priorities change, and all of a sudden you're worried about entirely different things, and the things you care about change dramatically. And I don't know that I didn't believe them, but I didn't understand what that really meant. And now that I have a daughter, I completely understand what that means, and my priorities have 100% shifted. And now all of a sudden, I am all of my fears center perpetually around terrible things happening.
You're
to
like,
my
high
daughter.
alert, daddy.
Yeah.
Do you always like look around and like, oh my gosh, that chair could tip over, and that could set off that one pole for falling over and then hitting her in the head? And
Everything is me being ready to dad reflexes my
Right.
way into some situation and save the day.
when you realize probably like the same environment that you were in before, then you look at it and you're like, oh my god, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
Houses are dangerous.
Everything is horrifyingly dangerous. That
Well,
step is too high.
Well, like D&D dice can be swallowed.
Oh yeah, I
seriously.
have put away all my D&D dice.
Yeah, there's a
Which-
lot of gaming things that could be choke hazards.
Yeah, every bookshelf can be pulled over on top of yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. All of a sudden, earthquake straps might be important.
Yep.
Because you don't care about your head, right? Like,
Right.
you'd be fine in an earthquake. Nothing can fall on adults and kill them or anything.
I could handle a bookcase. I'll punch it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hadouken!
Adults don't care about themselves. you only care about your kids at some point.
But I'm sure that's a feeling that will only be for like the first couple of years, and after that you'll be fine, right? Relaxed. Nothing bad can happen, right?
I clearly observing every other parent. That's exactly the experience that they have, right? So that is my fear. And I had mentioned this before, but kind of the purpose of having these, aside from the fact that it's an opportunity to think about yourself and your character and maybe the dynamic between those two, is also for something we like to call knives. And in Dungeons and Dragons, a knife is a thing that you have given to the game master who can then use it against you. It's something they can use to stab you in the back and twist a little. Sometimes a knife can be a part of your backstory. It can be a sibling you care about, or a parent you care about, or a mentor, or it can be something that you've revealed that your character cares a lot about or is motivated by.
Wait, so you just tricked us in real life to giving you ammo you can use as knives against us for reals?
Real life ammo, yeah.
Oh my god.
The other thing that's super interesting about this is that your character and my character and our fears are so similar.
They are similar.
That there's a special responsibility Adam has also to not like just grind that down, because he could really cause us a lot of personal pain, but also a lot of potential growth through that pain. But if Adam did a thing in the game where like both of us failed to meet our potential and died irrelevant deaths, we might walk away with some pretty significant personal trauma, right?
Well, wait a minute. We can't both shine brightly. There's only room for one in life. So I think you and I have to be embroiled in a death combat for the rest of our lives.
The rest of our lives, or just maybe 6-second increments until.
Or you form the same band
It's
and then
Highlander.
you have to split up and one of you becomes Simon, the other one Garfunkel.
Garfunkel's done really well for himself in the
he's done just
intervening
fine.
years.
But, he's not Paul Simon.
I'll be Christopher Lambert and you can be Sean Connery.
All right, deal.
What about me? I mean, if he takes away the afterlife, it's going to be really
Oh,
shitty for
geez.
me.
You can be Michael Ironside.
Oh my god. I thought you were gonna go with Michael Landon.
So this is a great
Incorporating Highlander
opportunity.
2.
These
Yeah.
will probably come up in the future for your characters. With that, why don't we jump in and start playing some D&D, which we've never done before. Certainly not today.
It's been a long
earlier.
time.
So I'll recap, because I'm pretty sure that's where you're going. We are heading into the marshes after learning from the foiled ceremony in Pahiha
Marshes.
that the marsh is where middle management exists for the Grumshites who are trying to bring back their god Grumsh.
Is it Grumsh or Grumsh?
Grumsh.
It depends on which region of
I
work
see.
Regional
territory you're
dialects,
from.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's the people in Pahiha are worshiping Grumsh. They don't really know why, but anyway. So they're bringing back, and Lord Blancmere is possessed by Grumsh. Anyway, so we're heading into the marsh, and we just captured. We killed 2 guys, but we captured a general of this organization, this evil organization, and he's unconscious. And we are about to head further into the marsh to confront upper middle management. And that's where, is that enough information?
I think that sets us up
Oh
perfectly.
my God!
So
You know what? I just remembered. Didn't someone draw really cool artwork of us?
Right. So patron or listener Lou drew some artwork. I will feign showing you it because you've already seen it.
Oh,
It looks so
nice.
amazing.
No, it is really great.
It is actually so
Yeah,
good.
I will point out because I'm a dick. So like, Grollo is spelled with 2 L's, but this makes it more valuable because it's like Did you ever get the version with only the 1 L? It's crazy.
I mean,
And
Grollo is illiterate, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. And I noticed that Grollo's face looks really lean, but I think below the neckline he plumps up a lot. It's like big Grollo, and I don't know why he doesn't put on weight on his face. It's
hard to exercise face muscles.
He's like that inverse hourglass shape.
right.
Yeah.
But Shoosh, man, you're looking kind of neat.
I look
got-
really good.
Those cool horns too.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the delicate features in Shush's appearance.
What does that remind
I like
you
the
of?
skin color.
The
I like
face
them both.
reminds me of
Kind of
something.
reminds me of the guy from Game of Thrones.
God.
What's his name?
The
Daenerys.
You didn't remember last time, and you're not going to remember this time.
Daenerys.
Oh, the
So-
Daenerys brother.
Daenerys'
So-
brother. Yeah.
Daenerys brother, Viserys.
Viserys.
The other thing that I didn't mention is that I'm going to use the picture as the show pic for the episode.
Nice.
So, and it should be posted on the website as well. So, if any of you want to do other fan art, then please email us and send it in because we will highlight it because it is always great. The assless apron scene, if you will, the hugging of the Grollo of the general scene, the mall scene where you threw
the
it,
throne mall.
the throne
Yeah,
mall
the
scene.
mist. Actually, there was the one on purpose, but early on there was the one where I tried to use the maul and it has slipped out of my hands.
Right.
It caused all sorts
Oh
of...
yeah.
The performance on stage scene.
Oh my God, that would be epic.
There's multiple moments.
That's great
that-
moments.
Yeah.
What about the romantic moments? Let's
Yeah.
not forget the romantic
Well,
moments.
someone drew Cruddy.
Cruddy, yes.
Look, I think she's sitting on a bed or
Yeah,
something,
it
like
looks
turning around.
really, really nice.
Did I show you guys that?
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, someone drew Cruddy sitting on a bed, kind of turning back in a sexy way.
Grollo stole that painting and went away for a while. Haven't seen him since.
keeps it with him in his bunk.
Constitution check. Okay, so that's where we're at.
Perfect. So then we can dive right into our game. Actually, before we do, I've got another movie idea. I want to see Kirk in a remake of Groundhog's Day, where it's just him having to relive.
And him being just constantly annoyed.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally doing everything the same way.
Well, you're that other radio or TV guy who's always the first thing he sees in
Yes.
the morning and like, how did doodly do?
Well, but then you tell me, you explain your problem. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then I'll be more annoying.
I'll be super random, and then you say the same thing
randomness
every
is
single
totally-
time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Spectacular.
I kill you in 25 versions.
Eventually, he gives up.
But do I unleash my full announcer potential at least?
Never.
Never.
Gosh darn.
Repeated day after day. All of you are in this clearing in the swamp where you have killed these 2 half orcs, and you now have this this full orc general named Kumag Blood Crusher, and he is unconscious. What do you want to do? What's your plan here?
Do we have rope?
You do have some rope.
I'm gonna tie him up.
Good idea.
So I go over and I start like tying him up. with
Perfect.
rope.
You're going to start tying him up. What are you guys doing while that's going on?
Search the
We'll
bodies.
search some bodies.
Awesome. You roll me a dexterity saving throw, Grollo, and then the two of you roll me some investigation checks.
12.
My investigation check is a 9.
19 for my dexterity.
Great.
And by the way, I'm kind of going overboard because I'm getting really into the task, and I'm like, extra loops, extra knots.
Super involved.
Yeah.
As you're tying him up, you think he's very tied up.
Yeah.
He's super tied up. You made like a little chair out of ropes for him to sit on to be tied up to. And the two of you, as you are searching bodies, you find a few different things. The half-orcs don't really have a lot on them. They have a couple of short spears for weapons, and they have some wineskins and some like food rations, like jerky and stuff like that. The general has a bag of gold that you find on him that you think was something that he was supposed to pay you when you handed over the ledgers. You also find the ledger, of course, that you gave him, and his greatsword. But Thrain, as you're searching the general, you actually find something of interest. He has one of those necklaces that you previously saw on some of the other orcs. That is on kind of sitting at his neck. It's a fine silver chain, and you can see it has a pendant on the bottom of it.
He has one of the exploding necklaces of doom.
Well, I guess we better try to get it off of him before it explodes and kills us all.
Perfect.
I'm still
Are you
tying.
guys gonna try to pull it off or something?
I kind of didn't hear what you guys were talking about because I was so focused on my thing. So yeah.
How did we get it off last time?
We
Well-
just yanked it off,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it exploded and almost killed us.
Here goes nothing.
Cool. Go ahead and give me a roll.
15.
You can make that a strength saving throw. You're essentially just trying to pull it off.
It's still a 15.
It's still 15.
Strength is not my... You saw my delicate features. It's not my strong suit.
15 is actually enough. You're able to sort of break the clasp because the device hasn't really activated, and it's not strangling him or anything yet. You can tell that it's much easier to pull off, and so as you break the clasp, it does in fact explode, but it explodes with fire. And Shoosh, I think you're resistant.
I am resistant to fire. Tiefling.
I'm gonna assume that that Grollo and Thrain were maybe standing on the other side.
I wasn't because
Oh, okay.
I didn't listen to what they were talking about, and I was still focused on the ropes. So he just kind of came and did his thing, but I was still kind of like futzing with the rope.
Perfect. In that case, Shoosh, you're going to take 11 damage, but then it's reduced to half, so you take 5 damage as it explodes.
Perfect.
Grollo, you take the full 11 damage. And
11 damage?
for your honesty, I'm going to give you inspiration.
Oh, what is that? What does that mean?
So we haven't used this a whole lot, but sometimes when you do good role playing or when you are particularly supportive of your teammates, I will give you inspiration. Inspiration is a thing that you can utilize to later give yourself or someone else a reroll on a d20.
I see. Okay, so it's something I can use. Is there does it expire?
It does not.
Okay.
There's
But you can
usually
only
a
have
box.
one at a time. There's actually a box up by your strength, just to the right of your strength.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
So just a 1.
Yeah, just put a check mark. You can only have one at a time.
Okay.
It's like your bank.
Okay, so I have an
Capacity
inspiration.
1.
Yay. But I take 11 damage.
So you still take 11.
There was a dimension in which I only took 10.
I know. I re-rolled. You were not as lucky.
Did I get a chance to see the pendant? You said it was different. Did I see what was different about it?
Yes. I didn't actually say it was different. That was last time.
There was the other dimension. It's leaking.
It is different. The pendant looks different. The other pendants were like a wireframe metallic, so they had like gaps and holes. This one is more robust. It looks like it's actually it's still the same symbol, but it's carved into like nice ornate stones, and it has like a backing and stuff. So it's a heavier pendant, I guess, is a good way to put it. But it looks nicer. And it looks like it was crafted with more intention.
But it wasn't like other than Groomsh or anything.
No, it is
Oh,
still
okay.
the same
I
symbol.
thought we had another party had entered the fray.
Oh, not to your knowledge so
Okay,
far.
gotcha.
Oh, dude, I screwed up. We need to start over. Can we start over?
Perfect. So all you guys now you've taken this necklace off of him, and he is starting to kind of come back into consciousness. I think you just sort of bashed him on the back of the head, so he's sort of starting to come to again. And you have him tied up effectively on the ground.
Right.
What do you want to do here? What's the plan of attack?
Zone of Truth is sort of what I was thinking.
I don't have one prepared.
Oh. I will Zone of Truth him.
Sweet. What is your saving throw for that?
That's a great question. I think it's 13.
Well, he did not succeed in that.
What is it?
As he starts to come to, you can see he kind of shakes his head and he's like blinking his eyes, and he's starting to wake up, and he's suddenly realizes that he's tied up, and he kind of shakes with some panic, and he looks up at the three of you.
Quick question.
4 of you.
When you do Zone of Truth, do you say, is it obvious that you're doing a Zone of Truth?
To him or to you?
To me.
We've done it before.
Meaning, so would I know, like, okay, Shoosh is clearly doing something here.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Okay.
playing a beautiful song on my violin.
Oh, but you're just playing a song.
It's a musical. It's a
Yeah,
magical
okay.
musical song.
I'm asking
Probably
because
looks like
Zone
magic.
of Truth.
I want to
Zone
know
of Truth.
what I would do when I see him starting to wake up. Because if I don't think that you're, like, doing something, I'm going to probably try to slap him or something.
Oh, you can slap him. It doesn't bother me.
So I see him waking up.
Zone of Truth doesn't mean we're friends. Zone of Truth means he cannot lie.
"Rrr!" And so, like, I go up and I, like, slap him.
Actually, technically speaking, all of us have to make the save.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, for what?
Go ahead and everyone
The
gets
save for Zone of
for
Truth?
Zone of Truth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a
15-foot radius.
wisdom save, right?
15.
That's charisma save.
Charisma save.
16.
Oh man, he failed that by even more than I thought he was going to. 16.
I didn't make it.
Okay.
I failed my own save. I'm afraid of being irrelevant. No, I shouldn't have said that.
So I'm okay?
So Grollo, you don't have to lie.
But you
or
know
you can
that,
lie.
but you know something was cast and you know you resisted it. That's
Okay, so I feel something like
You experience a sort of like there was a spell and you resisted against it.
"Rrr, what just happened?
That was a Zone of Truth. Ooh.
You cast a Zone of Truth? Ugh. So now I have to tell you the truth? Fine. I really like leap pies.
Thank you for your discretion.
What about you, Thrain? What do you really like?
I like, what do I really like? A good hammer on a good anvil and sweat in my beard. Wait, did I just say that?
That's very personal.
As the general comes to, he sort of panics and shakes and looks up at the 4 of you, and he says, "Who are you? You're clearly not Groomshites."
I have an idea. Could we use Zone of Truth on him?
We are not Groomshites. We worship Moradin, and we are here to kill all of you. So tell us who you are
tell
and
him our
what you are
plan.
doing here.
Thrain's telling him our plan.
I don't want to tell you who I am and what I'm doing here. My name is Crewmag Blood Crusher. That's BLOODCRU.
This is where you slap him.
S.
Slap!
And we are here where we will take back the lands that should have been ours.
Why are you doing that?
And as is always the case when somebody's under Zone of Truth and doesn't realize it, you can see his brow kind of furrow up as he realizes that he's telling you more than maybe he wants to be telling you. And he says, because the orcs were banished to unruly lands long ago, and Groomsh has rallied us together once again to take back that which should have been ours and eliminate the weaklings that inhabit those lands now.
Liar! I think he's lying. I can tell when someone's lying. You can see it in his forehead.
Have you talked to Lord Blancmere before?
I've spoken to the vessel that is Lord Blancmere.
What do you mean by vessel?
I mean that he now is our lord and our leader, Groomsh.
What do you mean he's Groom? She's Lord Blancmere.
No, he is something more than that. And you can see everything he's saying is true, but he goes from sort of having an angry expression to fear. You see like legitimate fear in his eyes as he talks about Lord Blancmere, and he says he is something truly horrifying. And then it goes back to sort of anger, and he goes, and a glorious leader that will help us take back that which should have been ours.
Who waits for us ahead at the trail?
ahead of the trail, an army, the likes of which you have never seen. The orcs rallied together and out for blood.
The head of this trail, who waits for us beyond that who are you taking us to?
I was the army.
You're taking us to an army.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's where we were gonna. I was gonna take you to the army.
How many in the army?
Many, more than I can count.
And
Well-
who's in charge of the army?
Lord Blancmere is.
Lord Blancmere is ahead on this trail. That's who you're taking us to.
Yes. Well, I mean, yes, yeah. I was gonna. I didn't really believe that you were Groomshites because you seemed kind of fishy. I was gonna take you there. Normally, I just pay you.
So you're going to take us there so that you
find
can
out more information. But
And
who are you?
Oh, I can't lie because he cast something. So, I am Grollo, but I will also tell you I don't like this one bit.
Oh, I don't like this either. I'm tied up. It is very uncomfortable here on the ground.
I am Thrain Orkshorn, and I believe that Grollo has a very gaunt face. That's surprising given the girth of his body.
I start pulling on my ear.
How can we defeat Lord Blancmere?
No one can defeat Lord Blancmere.
When is Lord Blancmere going to unleash the army?
The army shall be unleashed upon the holiday. We shall take back the city that ultimately controls this land, and with that power, truly bring Lord Blancmere to his power of Groomsh. He shall be summoned and shall become the true avatar. And at that moment, an arrow comes flying out from the swamplands and embeds itself in the chest of General Bloodcrusher. And out from the shadows, you see a figure kind of step his way from the swamp and walk up into the clearing that you have, and the figure is very recognizable. It is Lord Blancmere.
Oh my god.
As he steps out,
dun.
as he steps out from the shadows, he looks down at Bloodcrusher, who dies instantly as the arrow pierces his heart.
Oh no.
And he says, "You know, the only thing that I like less than people meddling in my affairs is somebody who is not loyal."
Well, I can't lie, so I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, then you'll definitely like me because I'm extremely loyal to Moradin. Meet my hammer, and I just run up to him and hit him with it.
Everybody roll initiative.
Can I?
I got a 20 on my initiative.
Whoa.
I really want to give him bardic inspiration for that running over there.
For the running over
I
there.
want to play the battle song.
Dex.
19.
Mine is 22.
Jeez, I roll a 20 and I
great
still can't manage to go first.
Okay.
Just gonna. I still have the violin out from when I did Zone of Truth. So I'm just gonna.
What was yours again? Sure.
20.
And I was 19.
These are great initiatives.
I know, it was a waste of a crit.
It was a natural 20?
Yeah.
Wow. Then in that case, I'm putting you first 3.
I don't know if anyone's crit yet this campaign. Has anybody? I feel like
I know I've won.
We've definitely had
I
crit
feel
fails.
like we've had a couple of
Critical
crits.
fails.
But
I
feel
can't
like we
recall,
have too.
A specific one.
Sort of a sense memory of
nothing that was
the
like
thrill.
Epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've had epic fail.
So what happens before you? A couple of things happen before you actually have a chance to close the gap to him. So you say that and you raise your hammer and you charge towards him. And he's only maybe 15, 20 feet from you. And so it doesn't take you very long to get over to him. But he raises his hand and motions. And a hail of arrows comes from the forest
Should've
around you.
known that.
Sort of from every direction as he does that. And all of you are attacked by these arrows.
Can we see if they're magically summoned or whether they're from soldiers?
I can let you kind of piece it together that they are from soldiers.
Okay. That would change the way that I would respond.
But Shoosh, you can tell. In fact, all of you can tell. It is a lot of soldiers.
It's a
That's
lot.
that's
You're looking at maybe like 24 soldiers
Oh.
in the forest around you. Although Blancmere is the only one that's like close enough to be really like melee attack distance. But now that they've sort of revealed themselves, you can see them kind of poking, stepped out from trees and things like that. Let's see. We'll do this in just like one big lob and volley. All of you got hit. Shoosh, you're going to take 12 damage from that.
Whoa.
Grollo, you're going to take 14 damage.
Oh.
Thrain, you take a little less. You only take 8 damage. And the as you run forward, I also need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
I got a 15.
15 is enough. You feel Blancmere cast a spell on you, and it's a familiar spell. He casts Hold Person on you. But you run forward all the same and charge at him, and it is your turn, Thrain.
Isn't it?
No, you rolled a natural 20, so I put you at the top of the initiative.
I just attack him, I suppose. That's what I do, because that's what I feel like doing. And I probably miss with a 6. So.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Thrain, roll me a strength saving throw.
I got a 16.
That is not enough. As you attack him with the hammer, he doesn't just get out of the way, he catches your hammer.
Oof.
And then you watch as, with a hand just as quick as you can imagine, he cuts the head from the hammer off of the staff, off of the handle part of the hammer. And then I guess he doesn't. He'll have to wait for his turn. But now you don't have a hammer anymore.
Oh, no, dude. Oh, God. What
Shoosh, that
have we
makes it
gotten
your turn.
into?
Yeah, I was gonna do Bardic Inspiration. I'm feeling suddenly very uninspired. So there's gonna be like a violin like preparing to play a battle song, and then like a.
A bardic desperation or
Yeah.
Shoosh plays what he feels.
Can I? Yeah. Can I see what? Because I think Shoosh builds what he's going to do off of his party. Can I see what Thrain and Grollo are?
You could delay your turn until after Grollo.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I need to base off of your rational decision making, but I think Thrain is sort of like our party leader. So if Thrain wants to,
he charged for it. Yeah.
No, but Thrain is maybe it's time to go like take us to your leader or something instead of, whatever. I'm gonna too much responsibility. This is hard. I think what I'll do is then just play Bardic Inspiration for Thrain so that he can be a little more successful the next time. So
okay.
I will, after that moment where the violin slightly discordant tune, I'll start playing a little bit more of an inspiring tune for Thrain.
I'm inspired.
So
Grollo, that makes it your turn.
I was, I turn around, I see, and I yelled what I yelled, and I was ready to go full charge when I see Thrain rush in first, and then I just saw him lose his hammer.
Yeah, and get pummeled by a pile of arrows.
And I just got hit hard.
Hit by a whole bunch of arrows.
My quote unquote Grollo strategy changes. I was gonna rush this dude and just do what I would usually do, but then my fear for my friends kicks in, and so I'm going to run and pick up Thrain, and is Shoosh right next to me? So I'm gonna pick up. Where is Nicholas?
Nicholas is also kind of close by to you.
Okay, I wonder if I can pick up the 3 of them and run to the forest. Like basically in my mind, I'm like, we're getting the heck out of here because like we're open and we're gonna get shot, and I'm hurt. So I try to pick up the 2 of them, or at least grab them, or pick up. I can definitely pick up at least 2 of them, and then I run to Thrain to pick him up, and I start dashing for the forest. Can I do this kind of thing?
Yeah. Are you also raging?
I haven't. Oh shoot. I haven't raged. No.
Okay. I was only thinking because you're gonna have to make some strength checks to pick everybody up.
Well, it's kind of weird. Like I would have normally raged because if I was gonna go attack and I just got hit and like, Rah! But then I got really afraid for Thrain. So it's like in a weird way, this like de-escalated me. It's weird, but
It took the wind out of our
yeah.
sails.
So I'm like, oh. So I'm gonna try to do that.
I didn't have an action on my turn. Can
Yeah.
I use my action from last turn to jump into Grollo's arms?
Yeah. In like a do
Come here,
you
you
like
big galoot.
like somebody being scared by a mouse or something?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like more like I'm picturing more like a piggyback ride. You can keep your arms free to grab the guy
Oh,
who's
there we go. Yes.
So just
Cool. Because Shoosh
More
is
fan art ideas.
right? Because Shoosh is helping you out. It's one less target that you kind of have to pick up with your arms at least. So, like he can jump on your back.
Right. So I grab Nicholas.
Roll me a strength saving throw with advantage because Shoosh is helping you out on that.
So I picture this actually with my left arm over Grollo's shoulder, and then my legs sort of like tucked.
18.
So my body
18.
is like angled out. I can see what's going on because I'm hooked with one arm over Grollo's shoulder.
So your Shoosh is on your back. You've grabbed Nicholas.
Yeah.
And you're running up and you're gonna grab
Thrain.
Thrain.
And I'm gonna head. I want to head to the forest where it's harder for them to see us and hit us.
Perfect. I think you're strong enough to be able to grab everybody. It does maybe slow you down a little, but maybe
Right.
your adrenaline is pushing you forward. As you come up to grab Thrain, Blancmere is going to make a grab for you. But what's your armor class?
It's 14.
As you pick up Thrain, he does not succeed in making the grab for you. You slip just out of his grasp, and you can hear with a frustrated tone that he says, "You are strong, young orc." And then he turns to his army or his troops, I guess, and he says, "Take them and bring them back to me." And another volley of arrows is going to come your direction. And given the circumstances, the volley of arrows.
He has a bunch of shields
have
around him.
shields.
You have a bunch of shields, but it's all your teammates. I actually like the idea a lot better in kind of painting this as a cinematic moment. Grollo, there's no way you're carrying 3 people through a swamp and getting away
Right,
from
right.
literally two dozen soldiers.
And to be clear, like my plan extended only as far as I'm gonna go to, because we're in a clearing. I'm gonna go to not clearing.
Right. As you get to not clearing, you can see that there are not just 24 archers. There's a whole platoon of other soldiers. And as you come running out, the archers pummel you with arrows. And Grollo, you do everything in your power protecting the teammates that you have surrounding you as you are taken down by the mass of archers. And the other soldiers come up and clearly aiming not quite to kill you, come up and just start bashing you, all of you, with
my God.
blunt weapons.
Well, did you wake up on the wrong side of the
into your unconsciousness.
of the bed
The
today?
dungeon master
The
bed.
dungeon master bed. Oh my God, this is cruel.
You're all reduced to 0 hit points.
Holy crap.
In Dungeons and Dragons, 0 hit points doesn't mean that you're dead. It just means that you are unconscious.
Oh my gosh.
Technically, at this point, would be normally
Mostly
when
dead.
you're mostly dead. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife.
He said true love.
So actually, let's take a break and have it be a
Cliffhanger.
yeah. All right, we're back from the break. If you want to learn more about how to kill all your players, go to gametogrow.org and learn more about how to use Dungeons & Dragons in therapy. Please continue, Adam.
Would this have happened in the other dimension, I wonder?
Right? It's a good question.
We'll never know.
You'll never know.
Let's try it again.
In the other dimension, you only took 10 damage, so
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
maybe you'd survive.
A couple of things happen. The first is you're not dying. You are not dead yet. The second is, as you are unconscious, Thrain, I'm curious, did that hammer mean anything to Thrain?
I mean, it was a hammer that he's had on his side for 5 or 6 years or something, but it wasn't a family heirloom or anything.
Thrain, while you are unconscious, you get a short vision, really more a memory of a vision. And you remember once again the path that that your god showed you, that Moradin showed you, to the hammer buried under the mountain, and you sort of review that vision as you zoom over the landscape and dive into the mountain and find this sealed chamber where this hammer lies.
Do I know what direction it is, or is it just?
You have an idea that it's to the north.
Okay.
And you're pretty sure you could identify the mountain if you got your hands on a map of that area.
Okay.
But you don't quite know where the chamber is inside the mountain. That part's sort of a mystery. But you sort of have that imagery again, and you also remember when you got this hammer, and the sort of adventures that you have had with it.
Yeah.
You come to. All of you are tied up in a tent. You can't see anything outside the tent. The tent doesn't really seem to have much in it, although you can hear a lot of noises. You can hear the noises of actually very familiar noises to you, Thrain. The noises of hammer on anvil, and fires and discussion that's happening outside. But all the discussions that are happening outside are happening in Orcish. And in this tent, there is not a lot. You each are tied to a very strong-looking pillar made of wood. From the top and from the bottom. So basically your hands are tied up over your heads, and your feet are tied down to keep you from swinging. And you each have a gag over your mouths.
Oh, man.
There's also a table on the side of the room where all of your possessions, all of your weapons and your bags are all laying, and somebody has clearly rummaged through everything that you have, and they've sort of poured everything out over the table, and seem to have been looking through it. All your weapons are sort of lying there haphazardly, and you can hear somebody from outside the tent say, "Have they woken up? It's about time we have a conversation."
Do I then hear a little doll say, "Grollo, you have lived your life without care for other people. Now you need to get out of here by eating everyone else."
Grollo, in his very weakened state, starts to hear some strange voices. Actually, now that you have come to, you realize you're not at 0 hit points. You're all at 5 hit points.
Woo!
And a few figures walk through the door. One of them is the same figure that you saw before, Blancmere. Blancmere is dressed in a long coat. Actually, a pretty nice dress given the tribes that he's been hanging out with. He's dressed in a very long coat and sort of a vest, but he is now wearing a bigger symbol of Grumsh around his neck in a larger sort of statement of his allegiance.
Is that necklace a strangulation necklace?
Honestly, you're not sure. It's the same symbol, but you have no idea whether or not that is you don't know if it's magically imbued. Not by looking at it. Blancmere comes in, and he, as you struggle and speak, he seems to sort of ignore you for a moment, and he comes in with 2 other orcs that also look to be likely maybe generals or high-ranking orcs, and then a sort of smaller orc who kind of limps his way in, and he has kind of a mangled leg. And Blancmere turns to the bigger orcs and he says, "These 4 have apparently infiltrated our camp and found out more about us than I would like for them to know. Tell me how that happened, General Bloodhollow." And one of the other orcs says, the warlocks of Bloodhollow know nothing of this treachery. If they have found out that information, then there must be something else going on in the city of Priya. One of the churches there must have betrayed us. And Blancmere sort of holds his hand up and he says, "If it is the city of Bahia, then it is my domain, and I shall take care of it myself. I'll find out whoever these 4 have been communicating with and eliminate them from the picture." He turns to you, Grollo, and he says, "You do have quite a lot of passion, don't you?"
I'm struggling.
He turns to one of the other ones and he says, "I am unfortunately due back at my duties. I still have to maintain the appearances in order to make sure that this plan goes off without a hitch. However, I plan to make sure that there are no other hiccups, no other problems that may arise within this. And he turns to the smaller orc that's there, the one with the sort of injured leg, and he says, "Make sure they tell you everything, and then get rid of them."
I say,
And he nods and he walks up, and he gives you like a long look, Grollo, and he says, "You have great rage in you." And then he leans in close to you, his face almost next to yours, and he says, "But it's not yours, it's mine." And he reaches into your heart, Grollo, Kali Ma style. His fingers don't pierce your flesh, but as he reaches up, he pulls from you, and you feel something drain from you that you've never felt before. And all of a sudden, Grollo, you feel weak. Not weak of strength, but weak of heart. And as he does that, you see him take a deep breath in, and a little bit of color fades from your skin, Grollo, almost like you're a little sickly. And
Maybe you're a little gaunt.
a little gaunt.
a little gaunt.
Maybe this is a prognostication over here.
And as he does that, you see him almost bolster in strength. And then there's a moment where you can see a little past his eyes. He's close enough for you to see him, and his eyes flash, and you realize this is no man. This is no human. This is something else standing in front of you.
Oh, jeez.
And then he turns and he walks up to you, Thrain, and he says, "A follower of Moradin here. What are the chances?"
I glare at him.
And as he looks you up and down, he says, "When you return back to him, give him a message for me." And with that, he punches you in the face. He doesn't punch you that hard, but you don't have a lot of hit points left. You lose 2 more hit points.
I laugh heartily.
And he sort of smiles back in your direction as you laugh, and he says, "I'm glad you've got spirit. That will make this much more interesting." And then he turns and he says, "Make sure they don't leave," and he points to the orc and he says, "Kill him if he screws up." And the 2 generals both nod and stand at the edge of the tent. One of them outside the tent and the other one on the inside. And the smaller orc sort of starts getting himself ready as Blancmere waves and leaves the tent with his sort of cloak billowing behind him, and you can hear the sound of horses and a carriage as he clearly gets aboard a carriage drawn by horses and takes off.
Oh, what a disaster.
The figure in front of you, the smaller orc, turns to all of you and he says, "Hello, it's wonderful to meet you all. My name is Justin.
Nice.
I'll be your torturer for today.
Oh, no.
Do you have any allergies I should be aware of, or any particular soft spots? Some people have tickly tummies, things like that. Anything like that I should be aware of? Oh, right, your gags. Of course, you can't say anything. Well, let me help you with that." And he kind of reaches up, and he actually can't reach to your gags. You guys are kind of like high enough that he can't do it. So he picks up like a stick, and he kind of with like a little sharp end, a dagger on the end of it, and he picks it up and he kind of cuts your gags off of you. And he says, "Great. It wouldn't do any good to torture you for information and then not have you be able to give me information. That doesn't work very well that way. So it's wonderful to meet you. What are your names?"
You'll get nothing out of me. I welcome meeting Moradin in the afterlife.
Perfect. Often of times people don't want to give names, so I'll just give you a name. I think I'm going to name you Frederick. You're Frederick. Wonderful. And the rest of you?
My name's Shoosh. There's nothing I hate more in the entire world than having my hands free.
He's
Oh
a
man,
clever one. This Shoosh.
I would just be so tortured if you let my hands free. I hate to look at my own hands. I've killed so many people. It's a guilt thing, really.
What? That's great information.
Yes.
And he kind of pats your leg, and he says, "Not my first rodeo, you know." What was that? I didn't hear it.
I'm whispering something, and like it seems like I'm trying to tell him something, but it's very quiet.
He does like kind of walk up a little bit closer.
How close does he get?
He gets pretty close to you.
Does he get close enough to where I can bite him?
Yeah.
He's
Do
not
it.
tall enough for you to bite him, but he does get close enough for you to maybe like wiggle and hit him.
Or pee on him.
I just keep trying to whisper something to see if he'll get close enough because I want to bite him off.
He says, I can't quite wait that out. Oh, let me get the stool. And he steps away and back over by the table with all the stuff. Underneath the table, he kind of pulls out. There was like a not really a chair, but like a three-legged stool. And he pulls it out and he drags it over and he gets up on top of the stool. And he says, "What was that now?"
Is he now close enough?
Yeah,
to bite?
now he's.
I basically opened my mouth and with a lot of rage because of what just happened. And you can tell, like, I don't know if anyone's looking at my eyes, but my eyes have kind of like changed because I'm just like hurt and angry. And then I just bite his face like so hard.
You can bite him, but it doesn't have the rage you want it to. You find yourself stunted as you try to muster the anger that has traveled with you for your whole life, Grollo, and that you've had, and that has been a source of maybe sometimes frustration, maybe sometimes poor things have happened in your life as a result of it. But in this moment, and in so many others before this, it has served you well, and it is not there when you reach for it. But you do still bite him. He's not hard to reach.
Yeah.
And you bite him really good. Do you want to go for an ear or a cheek?
Take his nose off.
Because he was kind of leaning in
He's
from
kind
the
of
side.
leaning. He's kind of leaning in
So
from the
yeah,
side. So you don't
I'm
think
trying
you
to
could
take
reach
that
his
ear
nose.
off.
You get a solid chunk of ear.
Yeah.
And he screams and falls backwards off the stool. And he goes, "I always fall for that." And you can see, kind of looking him over, he does have a lot of scars. He looks like he has, this would be not the first time maybe even that somebody's took a chunk out of his ear.
And I say, "Oh, it isn't your first rodeo, I see."
He says, "It is not. But I have learned lots of things along the way.
Yeah.
Do you know how much better it works to use someone's own stuff against them?" And with that, he pulls the rapier off the table. And he kind of points it at Thrain and he goes, "Not your style."
It is my
You.
style. It's mine.
No, I've gotten very good at this part. And he walks up to Shoosh and he goes, "Tell me, what brought you here?"
Can I spit? I want to spit the piece of ear I bit off at his face.
Yeah. It kind of gets in his way, and he like bats it away, and he goes, "I forgot you had it." And he turns to the general and he goes, "These four are really unruly." And the general kind of grunts and looks mildly unhappy. And at this point, you guys can hear that there is a commotion kind of building up outside the tent. And the general on the inside of the tent turns to the one on the outside and he says, "What's going on out there?" And the one on the outside, who was the one that was called General Bloodhollow, says, "Some of the tribes are fighting again." And the general kind of shakes his head and he says, "Every single time Blancmere leaves, holding these together will be a feat of strength only Grumsh could do." And you can hear the general outside the tent walk away and start shouting orders at some other orcs. As you can hear, there's a lot of commotion happening outside the tent.
I say to there's another general there, right?
There is.
And I say, "You'll never control those heathens and those filthy animals. They're animals. They're nothing. You'll never control them."
He said he turns to you and you clearly like he is getting angry and he walks forward and he goes, "Animals are we? When you've taken everything that we had, everything that we deserved."
Taken? We live here. You need to go to the wastes where you deserve to live, and Groups needs to go back.
You dwarves think that you're so much better than the orcs.
We are better than the orcs.
With your tiny
Everyone's
stature,
better than the orcs.
You're weak. You're weak just like all of your kind.
Untie me and we'll see who's weak.
You can't bait me into that. And he grabs you by your armor. And kind of shakes you in the thing in that moment. Both of you roll me perception checks.
Oh man. I got a 3.
It's dexterity. What is it?
Perception, so it's one of your skills.
Oh yeah. Oh, 21.
Perfect. Grollo, you are the only one who notices this. But as the general shakes Thrain, the ropes at his feet tug at the board that connects, that is sort of laid across the ground, connecting all of you. And it is enough that it loosens the board for I guess I'll say your legs.
For my legs.
Yeah. And so you think maybe even with a really good tug, you might be able to pull the whole rope loose from the board at your feet.
For all of us?
No, just for
okay.
you.
Okay.
But he continues to kind of be in Thrain's face, and he says, "Your people are the garbage that we will consume when we take back over this land.
You guys eat garbage?
We eat whatever blood comes across our path."
So what I'm noticing, let me make sure I understand. Am I noticing like my legs could be free?
Yeah. So basically, your legs are still tied together.
Yeah.
But
I could move them.
they were tied down to a post. Now you can kind of pull it.
How close am I to that general?
You could maybe kick him, but you couldn't really like wrap your legs around him or anything like that.
So I could kick.
Yeah.
Okay, and then is there any way that I could? Oh yeah. Okay. So is there any way that I can reach? Can I reach the legs of my compatriots here somehow, like loosen them with my legs? Like kick their legs out or something?
Well, does Grollo
Maybe
wear
not.
shoes? Actually,
there's
either
some
way, I would
weird
assume you don't have
boots.
any shoes on.
How prehensile are your toes?
Yeah.
They're not.
I would say without a bigger distraction, you probably couldn't like swing your feet over enough to like start untying somebody's legs. Unless without people noticing.
Okay.
I would think if you were untying knots with your toes, we would be pretty impressed.
Right.
All right. So
Mesmerizing.
I say to Thrain, I say, Thrain, calm down, friend. There's no point anymore.
Yes, and I will go out like a warrior. Kill me now, set me free, and we will fight in battle.
And I say to the general, hey, I'll help you.
He says, he turns to you and he's still kind of holding Thrain, and he says, "You will die like all the traitorous scum that the rest of your tribes have done. I recognize you. You're one of the Grimhammers."
Fine, I'll redeem myself by telling you what I know.
And you see the smaller orc,
The torturer?
Justin, who takes his sword and he goes, "Perfect progress!" And he gets back up on the stool, and he's still holding Shoosh's rapier. And he gets back up on the stool and he goes, "Go ahead, tell Master Justin all you know."
Is he in front of me?
Yeah.
And he's holding the rapier?
Yep.
What's happening with the general?
The general's he's looking at you, but he's still
still
holding
on
Thrain.
Thrain.
And actually now Thrain, he has reached out his hand and he's produced a green flame from the center of his hand.
Okay.
And he's like holding it closer and closer to your face, and he turns to you again, Thrain, and he says, "I wonder how defiant you will be when I burn off your beard, dwarf."
You're scared of me. That's why you won't untie me. Truly scared.
He smirks and starts moving the flame closer and closer to your face.
Okay.
What do you want to do, Grollo?
All right, so I don't know. This is a Hail Mary pass here. But I'm going to try to, using all my core strength, kick this little, was he a goblin? What is he?
He's an orc. He's just
an orc.
kind of a smaller orc.
Small orc. I'm going to try to because he's like in front of me, I'm going to try to kick him sideways so that he tumbles into the general with the rapier, hoping for like some
He'll
damage.
hit a particularly like power.
Yeah,
like-
well, I'm at least certainly helping to take him out, the little orc. But I'm hoping that the rapier finds its way to the general
Or me.
or Thrain.
Or if you can get it up high enough, we could catch it.
Yeah, but the problem is I'm acting kind of despondently because of what's happened to me. So I'm sort of like, I don't feel like there's a lot left to live for right this second. So I'm just like,
Your emo.
here goes nothing. Like that kind of thing.
Your Eeyore Grollo.
Yeah.
And it's worthwhile to point out you're still physically strong.
Yeah.
It's just like sort of tapping into that
Yeah.
to that anger that,
Right,
that you
right.
don't have as much of it anymore.
Ironically, and correct me if this is not the way you intended, but ironically, I'm being able to think a little bit because I'm not just acting on the rage.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's kind of how I'm reading this.
I think it maybe does have a little bit more like Grollo actually trying to use some tactics.
Yeah.
More so than he might have otherwise. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
What'd you roll?
Is there no inspiration?
You have
inspiration.
You have the inspiration lets you re.
You can use it on yourself.
re-roll.
I could use it on myself.
Yes. However, right now you're not talking into the mic.
I have inspiration?
You have inspiration.
I didn't know I could use it on myself.
You can use it on yourself.
All right. Well, I'm going to use it on myself.
What'd you roll?
7.
Oh.
Which would have been a 12. Oh, no, not even a 9. So I'm going to use the inspiration on myself, which means I'm just going to roll again. 13.
The 13 is enough.
Okay.
You only had to be faster than the orc in front of you.
Okay.
That is enough for you to, as he's like, he's very casually holding the sword, like off to his side because he's like leaning in to hear you tell him all about your secrets and stuff. So you pick your legs up and knock the sword, and the sword flies out of his hand and immediately stabs the general
nice.
through his side. And the general screams out in pain as he's like holding the flame really close to Thrain and really close to your face.
Do I recognize what kind of flame it is?
Yes. You can tell this guy is actually probably a warlock.
Oh.
So
It's like an Eldritch Blast kind of thing.
It's kind of like an Eldritch Blast kind of flame. But as he does that, he falls over. And as he falls over into the weapons table.
Oh, nice.
And the weapons table, all the weapons sort of go flying everywhere, and all of your equipment. And he collapses, and
Final Destination.
the flame in his hand catches the edge of the tent on fire.
Oh, yes!
And he gets up. He's not down, but he is like a sword stabbed into his side. And Justin comes running up to him and he goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry! Who would have thought he would have done that?"
So are we tied to like a beam above?
You are.
And is it looped over and down, or is it just tied to the thing?
I would say, I guess it's tied on and then tied down, if that makes sense, like down to your hands. So yes, it goes over the top of the beam.
All right. And the only way to get us free would be to untie the knot or cut it or something.
Yeah, something.
And if
along those
someone
lines.
got it, would our hands be free?
Or I guess break the beam.
Would our hands be free at that point?
If somebody cut the rope, yeah, you could undo your hands.
Okay.
And my legs being free means I probably can swing a bit, right?
Yep, you can swing a bit. You now have some motion while the two of them are distracted. You have
And the
just
thing's catching fire.
a couple of seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm afraid of fire. Okay, so that might actually expedite my intensity of trying to get out of this. So I start swinging my legs. Maybe I guess I'm trying to like knock something loose, just swinging around.
The Justin can't reach our knots.
Correct.
Too short.
Yeah.
But the general can.
But the general could.
Okay.
I guess Grollo, since you're swinging around a bunch, you probably weigh quite a bit.
Yeah.
These are effectively the supports for the tent.
Right.
So the beam that you're tied to is like, there's like A-frame supports on either end of the beam that are the beam is like literally the cloth of the tent is pulled over the top of the beam that you are also tied to.
I see.
So as you start to swing your weight back and forth, it does start to loosen some things. Both of you make me strength saving throws. Both of you meaning Shoosh and...
Natural 20.
I got an 8.
Shoosh, you're still having some trouble with it, but Thrain, you managed to pull your legs also up from the beam beneath you. So now you have some leverage for your legs as well.
Okay, I cast command on the general to cut me down,
Ooh, you cannot cast command with your hands still tied.
but it's just a verbal.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh man, that's good.
I just say, cut me down. Actually, no, sorry. I say, cut him down.
Okay, so I love that it's just verbal. You can totally cast command. However, command has to be a single word.
Right, all
What
right.
single word do you tell to the general?
Fuck, I can't. There's not. It's too. It's too. Cut rope. It's hyphenated.
Can you say like untie?
Okay. Yeah, I guess. But like what? Like, wouldn't untie me? But that's obviously. Is there? I bet you in another language there's like a verb that is.
You could
that
say like
me is.
release.
So
Yeah, but then he farts. You know.
Yeah.
So a couple of things to keep in mind with command.
Emancipate.
You generally you can command somebody to do something, but it is usually like a quick action. It is
Right.
like drop means like let go of your weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I was.
So doing something more complex like untying something is usually too complicated for
Right.
command to do.
Yeah. I mean, I might still do it later, but maybe right now it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you're right. I won't do it.
No, there may be something really, really good here. So I want you to hold on to that for your tool. But it's going to require you to be really creative.
Okay.
In the moment in order to utilize it.
Yeah.
But you still have your feet free.
Yeah. I try to swing my legs up to somehow wrench on the rope and my hands.
Thrain, just like Grollo, they took off your shoes. So you can totally pull your legs up and then start trying to untie the rope or push off the beam ahead of you.
Right.
Basically yanking the rope down.
Yeah.
You could totally try to do that. Do you want to try to untie it or do you want to try to push?
Can I push on the beam and try to just yank my hands out, like just through sheer force?
Yeah.
Or like, somehow just separate myself from the...
Yes. Give me a strength saving throw.
Where's that natural 20? Oh, 5.
You start to push.
Now I see him doing this, right?
Yeah.
So I get the same idea.
You're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, give me a strength saving throw as well. And Shoosh, you can make one more strength roll. While this is going on, you can see Justin is helping the general up and is like getting ready to pull the sword from his side.
22.
I want it. What did you want? What did you ask me?
I was just asking Shoosh, you can make another attempt to try to pull your feet up. if
I was
you want,
actually
or
thinking
something else.
about trying to distract the two of them from like stopping them because these guys have gotten pretty far. So I was going to do vicious mockery, which is just verbal.
I love it.
On the two of them, or just aimed at their general direction, probably at Justin.
What would you say? What kind of mockery are you aiming for?
I think I would say that they're an embarrassment to their tribe.
Say it.
You call yourself an orc. You're an embarrassment to everyone. If they saw you, they'd be laughing.
Perfect. Well, he gets a roll for.
It hurts.
Which one are you aiming
It
at?
hurts
Justin
because
or
it's
the
true.
It is true. I think I'm aiming at. Because Justin was helping the other guy, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be aiming at him, so he would not be able to help him and pull the sword out of his side.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Roll me damage for that.
1d4
Grollo,
psychic damage.
you are more successful. Thrain's kind of pushing, and he gives you the idea. You lift your feet up and pull on the thing. It hurts your arms quite a lot, but you are able to get your arms free, and you sort of collapse down onto the ground. You're gonna take I think 3 damage doing that. But you now have rope burns kind of on your wrists and all the way up your hands.
Yeah.
But you collapse down onto the ground, and you are now.
You got to break some omelets.
And I'll say you're able to break or untie your legs instantly. You can do that very quickly.
Okay.
At this point, Shoosh.
I gave him 4 psychic damage.
As you say that to Justin, He's in the middle of like pulling the knife out, and the General Bloodhollow is like, don't wiggle it. I pull it, just pull it out. And then you say this to Justin, and Justin immediately lets go of the sword, and then puts his head into his hands, and he goes, "I am a disgrace," and he starts crying, and leaning on the table as he's crying into his hands.
Oh, patron Justin.
Sorry, Justin.
Long live Justin.
Grollo, you are now free. Thrain, you can make another attempt at pulling your hands out of this thing.
12.
12 is... I'm going to say it's good enough.
Okay.
You managed to pull your hands out. You're also going to take some damage.
Well, I could be dead at this point.
Well, but can I try to grab him?
Yeah, you want to catch him?
Yeah.
That'll lessen the damage.
Okay.
In that case, you only take 1 damage.
Okay.
What are you at?
I'm at 2.
I'm at 2 as well.
Grollo, you managed to catch
So I managed
Thrain.
to catch him.
And
Can I do something else, or am I done?
You have, because of Shoosh's distraction, you have just enough extra time to maybe have another round of actions.
Okay, so I let me think. So the scenario is I just caught Thrain. I'm pretty hurt, and I'm thinking, okay, I gotta like Shoosh is still trapped, but
You didn't
I'm
necessarily
worried-
catch me. You could have just softened
just
my...
soft-
soften
soften
the
the landing.
But I'm really worried that this general, even though he's hurt, first of all, like the tent's on fire. We don't have a lot of time here.
Yeah.
Because like people are gonna notice.
And the fire is definitely spreading quick on the.
But I
on the
also
tent.
don't want him running out and yelling like help or something. So I think my top priority now, even though Shoosh is still captured. Oh, Nicholas is.
Nicholas is also.
Is he
I
just
guess
fully tied?
I haven't. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nicholas is fully tied
So
up.
we still need to deal with untying both of them. But I want to take the general out while he's hurt, so that we can just be done with that. And I am
You
unfortunately...
could drive the rapier in more.
Well, yeah, I could do that. And unfortunately, this is rational. This is Professor Hulk, not normal Hulk. So I am... Sure. So I kind of oddly, calmly take out my maul and walk up, and I'm going to just bang him on the head.
Well, you have to get it from the
you
table.
do not have your maul. It is on the.
Oh,
it is
right.
On the
So I
table.
need to walk over. That's where he's at, right?
Yeah, he is basically.
So I
right
want to
next the
walk
table.
over, grab my maul. Not walk, but I want to go over, grab my maul, and smack him on the head.
Okay, give me an attack roll with your maul. You can go and pick it up, and Justin doesn't really bother you because he's crying into his hands. So
21.
that is enough to hit him. You bash him over the head. Give me a damage roll.
Six.
It's enough to hit him. You pull out the maul and you bash him across the face, and then he immediately turns to you, and he looks very unhappy, and he grabs the rapier himself and yanks it out of his side, and he says, "You've made a terrible mistake." It's not his turn yet, but he is now going to try to attack you on his turn.
Maybe I should have freed one of my friends. Although Thrain is free now. Okay.
Let's see. Shoosh, I guess that makes it your...
I am
your
going
turn.
to, if for my action, I'd like to try to get out.
Okay.
But my bonus action, I would do healing word on Thrain.
Is that also only verbal?
Yep. It's just a word.
I appreciate that you guys are
I'm looking
figuring
it up
out
now.
what spells you can do while your hands are tied. Cool. You give me a strength saving throw for pulling your legs out.
15.
That's pretty good. You're able to kind of yank your legs up, and I'll also let you, if you wanted to pull your legs up and start trying to undo. Now that you've seen Grollo and Thrain do the same thing, you can do that with the same action.
Okay. This is another strength roll.
Or if you want to do dexterity and try to untie the ropes with your feet, with your toes, you can totally try
Sure.
that.
That's a higher, is that a saving throw?
Yep.
That's a 4.
That was not going to work.
No, it's a 6. That's a big difference.
Still not quite doing it, but you are working on it. And you can cast Healing Word, so give me a roll for Healing Word. I think it's a D4 plus your spellcasting modifier.
That is 4.
So Thrain, you are healed for 4.
Nice.
My healing word is Moradin.
Ooh.
Yeah, what does it look like when you cast it?
Well, I'm tied up, so I'm like trying to pull my hands out of the rope, and I just lean over and say Moradin. It's unclear whether I'm talking about the god or the band.
And then what does it look like on Thrain? Is it like a little glow or something? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, is there a glow to it or magical visual
Maybe this lets us know if it's the band.
magical effect?
I think it's I don't know. I was gonna say it's sort of like the Joker, sort of like his cheeks
Grin.
come up like this, and he grins, and sort of a ghastly.
Like a forced smile.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
see.
pretty horrible.
But he's healed by 4. That's
Yeah.
good.
I don't know. That was my
some
gut.
of your wounds and burns and stuff heal just a little bit, Thrain, and you're feeling like you have a little just a smidge more energy.
Little pep.
A little pep in your step.
Come on, Nicholas. What are you gonna do?
Nicholas is going to once again try to yank his feet out, and he's also successful.
Okay.
So he's able to sort of he more kind of wiggles his feet out, but he now that the board on the bottom is mostly broken because of everybody kind of pulling up at it, it makes it much easier for him to do so. And he's going to turn to Grollo, and he's going to say, "Yeah." Hit him in the face for me. And I guess that makes it Thrain, and then it'll be the general's turn after that.
Does that give me like inspiration or anything?
And he's not a bard.
I know.
He's just cheering you on.
But it feels good.
It still instills you with some
Yeah.
good feelings.
I cast silence on the whole tent,
Nice.
and then I grab a weapon that's close.
What does
Cool.
silence do? Just like, is it visual and audio or just audio?
Audio.
Just audio. But it makes everything perfectly quiet, so you can't say
and you can't
anything.
cast spells.
But you also can't cast spells that require a verbal component.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's now you're in the
So
opposite
no one's gonna
situation.
hear what's happening,
Right.
But they might see the fire.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
You cast silence over the tent, and it now becomes perfectly silent. And you can now see Justin sort of like visibly sobbing into his hands. And the general.
Is there a weapon that I can grab?
Yeah. What weapons did everybody have on them?
Well,
I set them all in a sling.
Is your broken hammer still there?
Is my broken hammer still there?
The head is still
It
there.
would be really poetic if you just like bashed his head in with the top
Can
of
I
the
bash
hammer.
people's heads with the head?
Yes, but it
Okay.
requires 2 hands to use.
Yeah. Okay. I grab that.
The head of your hammer.
Do it for Moradin.
The general warlock was actually in the middle of casting a spell when your silence hit. So he was like moving his hands, and then he was about to like blast Grollo with some kind of spell, and then your silence interrupted his very last word in his spell. And then you can see him like look around, and then turn to shout, and then kind of roll his eyes, and switch hands to his main hand for the rapier and go at Grollo with the rapier instead.
Okay.
Grollo, you don't have any armor.
Oh, because they took it all off.
Oh, actually, you do. You're a barbarian, so
Yeah.
your armor is
Yeah,
is
actually,
always
because
on.
I don't
You always
have
on
actual armor. It's just my armor, my body.
What does that make
My
your
body
AC?
is my wonderland. What'd you ask me?
What does
Your
that make
AC is
your armor
14.
class? It
14.
should just be the same that it always is.
Yeah, 14.
Amazing. Okay, he does not hit you.
Nice.
He goes to lunge at you with the rapier, and Grollo, you're able to like just dodge out of
well,
the
that's
way.
good because I only have 2 hit points.
And I guess Thrain, in that moment, you can make an attack on him.
Okay. I got a 14. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that will hit him.
For 8 damage.
You take your hammer and you bash him solidly on the head. Let's see, how's he doing? I think given the circumstances, if you want to, you won't kill him, but you can knock him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
He already got pretty badly hurt by the sword that was jabbed into his side, so yeah, you can totally knock him out. You bash him over the head and he collapses to the ground.
This is like a Jackie Chan movie.
in the ladder.
And Justin sort of realizes that he's in the tent with all of you, and he holds his hands up and he says, He doesn't say anything because the silence is still going on. And then you see him turn and try to run out the front of the tent.
Can I swing my legs at him and grab him?
Yep.
Like, who's that Mortal Kombat character? Sonya Blade?
Yeah.
Grab him by the head.
Yeah, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Give me a Sonya Blade. That's a 17.
That'll do it.
Nice.
You manage to grab him with your legs, and then you just want to hold him? Do you want to, like...
I really want to do a full-on Sonya Blade and, break his neck.
Yeah.
Give me a...
I mean, that's...
Justin's pretty weak.
I'm asking a lot from the Game Master right now. But that's what I'm going to... I'm, gonna try to at least choke him out.
Yeah, I think you can choke him out.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
breaking
know.
his neck is maybe more than the skills that you have
It
to break someone's
requires
neck with your feet.
a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, but I think you can like hold on to him with the ties that are basically around your legs and like use your legs to choke him out. And Justin struggles against it, but he's really like not very strong. So he collapses to the ground. You guys now have sort of a brief moment. You are in
Burning tent.
a burning tent in an orc encampment with a massive orc army and two not dead but unconscious orcs lying there.
Do I see my armor and shield? And
Yeah, all the rest of your stuff is all still there because it all got splayed out, and your bags are there and everything, so you can kind of shovel everything back into bags. And
I signal to Shoosh and I say, I do that.
to look at the bags or to look outside the tent.
Outside, I point outside the tent.
I want to look outside the tent, but I'm gonna grab my rapier and I'm gonna finish off that general.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at both of these guys and I'm just gonna coup de grace right there, precision attack on both of those guys. Like, no more zone of truth. This is serious.
Yeah.
Cool.
I try to put out the fire.
Yeah. Can you cast Create Water?
Not with silence spell.
Oh, you do have some water skins, I think. You guys
Okay.
had some water skins. So you can like take some water from your water skins.
Do these guys have any wine skins around or anything like that?
I guess you guys had looted wine skins from the guys. No, I think the orcs would have taken them. So you still have the water skins, but they took the wine skins back.
Okay.
So, I mean, I grabbed my stuff, but I'm starting to really get worried about the fire and start getting scared. So I'm kind of like slumping down.
The fire is spreading, so you start trying to get some water skins out and do it. The fire at this point has spread up the side of the tent and is starting to get close to the roof of it. And
so is it not likely I'm going to put it out?
I mean, you can certainly give it a try
The old college
to try to put it
try.
out.
Okay.
This all happens in seconds. You're
Right.
kind of grabbing stuff.
Yeah, after I stab those guys, I would go check out what's outside.
Once you look outside, so the general that was out on the outside of the tent has left, and you see a sight that is a little hard to swallow, Shoosh. You see fires burning for a tremendous distance, and what looks to be, this isn't a small army, this isn't a tiny tribe of orcs. You're literally looking out at what appear to be thousands of orcs.
When you say fires burning, you mean like campfires of
Exactly.
troops, not like the troops are on fire.
No.
Okay, I was like,
Campfires of troops.
Burning orcs.
we did a really good job of lighting that fire. So
And you can see
gathering.
surrounding the place around you, you're kind of like up on a little bit of a hill that gives you a little bit better vantage point. You can see the area surrounding you. There are the trees of the marshlands, and you can see the mists of this marsh have kind of covered this army to keep them very well hidden in this location. Wow. And you can see even above you, the mists of the marsh are like keeping even a dome around you, as there's like a fog. You're clearly in like a valley within the marshlands that is keeping all of this very well hidden from anybody who might try to get a look.
Would I be able to know based on the geographic location enough to like know where this is to let other people know where this is?
It would be tough to do. The marshlands are hard enough to navigate. You could maybe point to the like most dense areas of the marshlands and be like maybe around there, but it is a pretty large area, so frankly it would be, you're not even really sure where you are in the marshlands, much less how to tell somebody else where you are.
Certainly don't know how to get out of here.
Exactly.
Are we close to are we on the periphery of this thing where we could like make a run for it, or are we in the middle of the encampment?
You are towards one of the ends, but you're not like right up against the marshes. So you may need to come up with a disguise or make a run for it or something along those lines. The other thing that you notice, Shoosh, is there are banners that are up in different areas of the sort of massive encampment of army. And the banners all have different symbols on them. And they all have a symbol, a flag, followed by the symbol of Grumsh. So it's sort of two different flags that they're all holding. But you can tell just by looking at it that there are sort of designated areas for each tribe that they have kind of taken up. And you can also see there's a whole area off to the side where you can see them putting up a brand new banner and sort of bringing in new people who are setting up their own tents and setting up their own things. It's clear that they're still recruiting people to come and join the cause in the army.
I would like to non-verbally relay all of that information back to my teammates.
I have no idea how you would do that.
I dismissed the silence spell.
And that's what I saw.
I didn't hear any of that.
Did I get the fire out?
Yeah, give me a... we'll make it dexterity.
12.
Oh, all right. That's better than I would have thought. Yeah, I think you can put out most of the fire. The tent's still pretty badly scorched, but I think you've managed to use up the water skins and put out the fire.
I look out the tent, and how far is the closest orc?
There are some orcs that are not far at all, maybe like 15, 20 feet from the tent. They're not paying a lot of attention to the tent because there are lots of other tents that are around, and they're sort of walking around in that area.
I lift up the back of the tent. Can I see, is there less orcs on that side?
Yes. You can see there's probably, there's another row, effectively a row of tents, and then there is basically marshland after that.
Okay.
Are there
But
any?
there are some orcs kind of walking around the back of the tent, but way fewer.
Are there any horses or other creatures we could ride?
That's a super good question. I'm going to say yes. There are some horses. There's actually quite a lot of horses that are sort of tied up at various different tents around the area. You suspect they're probably generals' horses because most of the orcs probably don't have their own horses.
I say, I will create a distraction, and I start walking out the front, and I say, and when there's a break, you make for the woods. I start walking towards
Wait, Thrain, hold on. I have a question.
Yeah.
Does everyone know me? Do these orcs basically, like, are we all very well known now?
That's a good question. They,
And would
I'll say
we know?
Grollo, you don't know.
We don't know if we're known.
You don't know if you're known.
Okay,
because you came
'cause-
two in the tent. You have no idea what information was given to
So
troops.
I say, Thrain, wait. What if I infiltrated their camp?
Interesting. And then what?
By the way, would half orcs be allowed in this camp?
You saw that the General Blood Crusher had half-orcs.
Yeah.
From your knowledge of orc culture, I'll say
Because they had admired me in the town and stuff.
it depends a lot on the orc tribe.
Okay.
Some of them would be accepting of half-orcs, and some of them would not, and probably that's a point of contention between some of the orc tribes.
We could pretend that you captured us. We could do.
Ooh, pull a little Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? All right. Maybe. So all I say is like, maybe I could try to infiltrate their camp.
And then what?
I don't know.
I want to go over to the general who's dead and see it and check out his armor. What is he wearing?
Yeah, he has like pads, like shoulder pads, and they kind of come to around his chest.
Would it fit on Grollo?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
He's actually a little smaller than you,
sort
Grollo.
of motion towards it.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
I think you should wear this, and we could pretend that you've captured us, and then you can escort us back to the city of Pahiha.
Oh.
It's as far as my idea goes, but we could talk about it.
All right. What do you think, Thrain?
Okay, let's do it.
What do you think, Nicholas?
Yeah, I guess that sounds as good an idea as any.
All right. Let's do it.
Is there anything else on the general or Justin's person / the tent? We can do a real quick
Yeah, like a
survey,
look over.
see if there's anything worth
Let's
collecting.
See. Does the general have anything? Oh, the general has a book on him. The book is a book that he is using to track which tribes have joined up with the orcs here, and which ones either haven't joined or have denied joining up with the orcs.
It's useful.
Very useful.
Grollo, you obviously cannot read it, and it is in Orcish. But Thrain, you could read the text of the book.
If someone can read it out, I can understand what
In just a very, very quick glance through, most of what stands out to you, Thrain, is there's one particular tribe that is very familiar to you, which is the Grimhammer tribe. That tribe is familiar because that is the tribe that Grollo's dad belonged to.
Oh.
And are they holding out, or are they?
They are holding out. They have not joined up with the.
It looks
with the
like your
cause.
father's tribe is holding out against the horde.
What?
We can-
That makes no sense.
Why?
He's so cruel, so likely to join.
It says here he's one of the few tribes that's holding out.
Maybe we should talk about this on the road.
Yeah, right.
I gather my armor and shield. And,
Yeah, I grab all my stuff. We all
Cool. You guys have all your stuff again, except of course for.
And then
broken
I
hammer.
put on.
and I grab another weapon. Is there another hammer?
There's nothing else in the tent. They didn't leave a bunch of extra weapons in the tent. And the
general not have a because he's.
Oh, I guess the general actually did have a weapon. He would have had it's a short sword.
That's fine.
So you have a short sword.
Better than my fist.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I put on the general's armor, and I got my maul and stuff like that. There was something else I was thinking. Oh yeah, right. So can we weaken at Bernie's the little guy, the little orc? Like he's a little drunk or something.
I will totally participate in this. Totally. 100%. I am so into
You
that.
killed him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you
he's-
can weaken at Bernie's. then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rapier, so I sort of precision,
Yeah. I
second
mean,
and third rib kind of thing.
And aside from the fact, he's maybe got like some strangle marks on his neck.
So,
but
like,
because he's so beat up.
What I
probably
say
no
is
one would
like,
notice.
I think we should bring the little guy to make it look more realistic.
What exactly would your plan be for how to weekend at Bernie's him?
So, I mean,
We should weekend at Bernie's to him and get some voodoo on it.
so Grollo's simple thought is like, we're all going to pretend, I'm a soldier. We got the interrogator. He's a little drunk, and we're all going somewhere. But that's as far as Grollo's thinking goes. And then, I mean, someone can contradict this idea of the.
We
But
probably
this is-
don't need it if you are there with us and we have a good story like another general or Lord Blancmere wants us over there.
But if someone asks us a question and I don't know, he could answer for us.
I think all you got to say is I have orders to bring these 3 prisoners towards that direction, and if they counter you, just say I will fight you because that's my orders. Just,
okay.
just stick to the story.
Okay.
Did this guy have an amulet?
Yeah, he did.
Is it a choking amulet?
It's the same kind that you saw on Blood Crusher.
I would like to take the amulet. But I'm not going to wear it.
Would someone notice if
Actually,
I'm
the
not...
one that you previously had, the one that was from Blood Crusher, was taken away from you when basically any of the stuff that was theirs already, they took out of the pile. So
Would me not wearing an amulet kind of tip them off?
if anybody was observant enough, it would.
But if I put on the amulet, is that a risk?
Yes.
Okay.
Could we take the amulet off the chain, and then he just wears the chain, and then the chain just kind of goes under the armor so people just see the...
You could try to do that.
Let's try to... Thrain can be the voice of reason if you want us to stop doing this.
Hey, Shoosh, give me this. I need
don't
to
think
wear
we're
this
gonna live.
amulet. I need to wear the
No, you
amulet to
can't wear the
complete the
amulet. It'll
disguise.
choke you, and your head will fall off your shoulders. Don't do that.
Oh.
How about we just take the amulet and put it on your chest, and then make it so that we can't see the chain, and if it decides to constrict, it won't hurt anybody.
I thought we would put it on someone else's head, make it choke them, sort of like a, fire with fire kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, just put if we really want to disguise, you can have the symbol showing, but it's not around your neck. is the
Okay.
thing.
All right. Can we do that? Can we grab the amulet?
Yeah,
and
and I
kinda
figure you could like tie rather
right.
than putting the chain around your neck, you could put it up one
we just-
around one side and just
yeah.
tie it to the back or something, and then
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
look like
Okay.
look a little
So
like
we
you're wearing it, but
jerry rig it, and so it's like
yeah.
All right.
So the you guys are so I'm confused. Are you still weekend at burning?
No,
Justin?
Thrain
Go for it.
made a
Justin-
good point.
Justin will rot in
Yeah.
this tent.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry, Justin.
Grollo forgets that we just agreed not to do it. So as we're walking out of the tent, if these two turn around, I'm actually holding Justin.
Like you're holding his hand?
Yeah, I'm like holding his hand.
You're not doing a good weekend at Bernie if you're just dragging him by the
Just
hand.
being dragged
Yeah,
by
I
the
haven't
hand.
seen that movie, right? So I'm just like
Supposed to tie
literally
his legs
dragging
to our
him.
legs.
So
We should hide those bodies in this tent. Probably. Is there a place like we can stash?
The tent is bare.
Okay.
You could maybe break the legs off the table and put them under the tabletop.
That's all right.
Or I guess tip the table over and like scooch them under.
Just to
the-
give us like
behind
maybe
the side.
10 more minutes of time.
It is. I mean, it's a dirt floor. You could dig a hole, but that's quite a lot
I
more
don't think
effort.
that's gonna make it make sense.
does anyone turn around and see that I'm dragging the
Yes.
body?
Yes.
Let him go. I think we don't need him.
Oh, right.
Remember, you have orders to bring us to
yes.
the woods beyond.
Yes. And I start pulling my ear.
Pretend that
Do you
my
guys? I'm assuming you're gonna do like a faux knot or something like that to make it look like your hands are tied or,
Yeah.
something. Perfect. You guys all have faux knots. And Grollo, you start sort of marching out from the tent. Grollo, as you don't make it too far before there are a couple of orcs who come up to you, and one of them says, "Sir, we've completed the task that you requested. What is your next order?"
I look over at Thrain and I pull my ear.
I think. What? I think.
Silence, prisoner. Yeah, so that tent is a mess, but leave it alone. These are prisoners, and I do not treat prisoners kindly.
Perfect, sir. Would you like for us to kill them for you?
Actually,
And one of them draws his sword.
better than that. I need your weapon because I am going to take care of this myself.
So, aren't you going to kill them with magic, sir?
Yes, but magic would be too quick. I want them to suffer.
One of the orcs looks really confused, but he hands over his weapon to you.
What kind of weapon is it? Is it better than what Thrain got?
I'm going to say it's like a club with a nail in it.
That's actually better. That's better. I'd
it
rather
better?
have a club with a
Okay,
nail in
so
it.
I take that.
Shoosh is really impressed at your deception right now. Like,
I look over at Shoosh and pull my ear. Okay. All right. Now leave us and go. There's another problem up ahead. There's more orcs. I mean, more of. They're having fun and drinking. You should go see.
You want us to go drink with the
Relax.
with the other clan, sir?
Yes. Make peace. Not. I mean, but war too.
They sort of look back and forth to each other.
can we tell what their tribe is?
Yeah.
Do we know enough about the tribes?
I'm going to say Shoosh wouldn't know enough about the tribes.
Can any of these whisper into my ear something smarter to say?
I think
I was
if
trying to
they
think of
lean
that.
in and say something to you, I think it will give away
Okay.
the illusion.
I wanted to say something like, "Oh, the Blood Crushers said your tribe were the weakest. They're partying right now. Why don't you go check them out?"
He will turn to you and he'll say, "Filthy prisoner, how dare you speak to me?"
Yeah. Silence, prisoner.
So I thought he'd like to know that his clan was so viciously insulted by the Blood Crushers.
Ridiculous. The Blood Crushers wouldn't have said that about us, right, sir?
Right. Yeah. Then I realize what I should like. The key thing is we need to draw blood from towns and villages everywhere, and we need to prepare. Go work out and get stronger and do push-ups, and that way we can kill everyone.
Very good, sir. How many push-ups should we do?
Start with 100.
They both sort of look at each other and then they drop down and they start doing push-ups.
Okay. We keep going.
And you can hear them whisper like, "Blood Crushers wouldn't have said that about us." And you guys starting off. Do you want to try to steal a horse, or you just want to bolt for the forest?
I mean, if the horse is convenient, but otherwise, I just need to get to the.
You're sort of at a fork where you can like see the home turf of the marshlands that you could get into and be safer than you currently are, or you could go another direction and try to take a horse or two, but you might end up encountering more orcs.
This is like Bandersnatch. I say head to the marshes.
All right. Hey, how was that, Shoosh? How did I do?
I'm really impressed.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we're heading to the marshes.
Perfect. You guys take off into the marshes and are at least temporarily free from the orc encampment and headed. You have no idea what direction.
Can I tell by the sun?
There is no sun in the marshlands because the fog is overhead is too dense. to
Well,
see it.
just head whatever direction we're headed, like away from the camp.
Yeah. So you guys start heading in that direction, and I think that's where we're going to end for the day.
We're going to need a plan. We're going to need a bigger boat.
I need a long rest so bad.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm at 2 hit points still.
Yeah, I have 5, and I'm no
Holy
spell
crap.
slots.
Perfect. Well, as is true for the end of every game, I would love to hear if you guys have a spotlight for somebody else today in our game that you think was enhanced
dire.
the game for you.
I enjoyed everybody today. I enjoyed the DM. I spotlight the DM and Adam's style of DMing, which feels exciting and spontaneous and cinematic and story worthy. And I like it. I'll spotlight Adam with his role playing today. I don't know if it was like his initial question of trying to be included and all that kind of stuff, but I guess I was seeing you through those eyes today. I don't know if you were trying to embody the that kind of vibe or something. And of course, Grollo always has good things. And it's interesting that you played with Adam, the DM's role playing with you about taking away your rage, and you didn't just sort of blow past that. You actually incorporated that into your own version of what that means for your character, and that really adds a certain level of whatever the act. At the end of Empire Strikes Back, when all is down and the hero has lost his rage and they're wandering the marshes and they have nowhere to go, and like you sort of added your own.
The camera's zooming out and we're all like looking at the through the window.
Yeah. So that's what spotlight.
Great. So I wanted to call out, there was a lot of intensity today from Thrain when he was being jostled by the general. Usually Thrain delivers his lines a little bit more stoically, but this time it was like a little bit of fire thrown in the face of the general.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've played these characters for so long that I feel like I understand Thrain.
Yeah.
And it just occurred to me while those things were happening that I was like, Thrain doesn't care at this point.
Right.
These are his mortal enemies. It seems like it's all over. He just wants to go into the afterlife with some glory, and so he's angry. And
I really liked it. And so 2 things, because normally I would have been looking for maybe a funny in for Grollo, but I was like, oh, I got to let this scene play out because it's quite intense between the 2 of you. And then the only thing I could think of, which I tried to add a little bit, was actually, I think like Grollo in his depleted state is going to try to calm his friend down, which is totally unlike Grollo, right?
Oh,
so that's why he said like, Thrain, just give it up, which when we Grollo would be like, that's right, and I'm gonna, I drink your arm. So anyways, that I really liked that moment between the 2 of you. It was really great.
Yeah.
My spotlight's already taken, but I was going to spotlight Kirk for raising his voice in a way that I've never actually seen Kirk do. Yeah. So there was like this other side of Kirk I got to see when he was like yelling at the general. So, and I also never see Adam raise his voice either. So it's kind of fun to see both of you guys who I think are like very therapist. You're like, tell me about your feelings. You both like raised your voice today. That was great. Really, and I liked, once again, sort of repeating it, but I liked Grollo when your anger was taken, you like really made that a character choice instead of just like a mechanic. It wasn't like, oh, I can't rage. I guess I'll use dexterity. It was like, oh, my character is now going to operate differently because this thing is.
Well, I could really feel it when you were describing what was happening. Like, because I tend to be very visual when someone describes something, but in this case, it was more than visual. I was like feeling it. I'm like. It's like, oh, stop taking the heart from me. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to spotlight is how in the moment you are and how as the story is unfolding, you're reacting to it in a
Method.
well, not only, but you, Umberto, are
Yeah.
also react. You're just like, oh my God, what?
Right.
What are we gonna do? This is horrible.
Because it's like watching a movie. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Arrows flying from what?
Like when Darth Vader shows up on Cloud City.
Right.
It's like, oh no. Yeah.
Right. And so the thought that came to mind when you were describing that he was pulling out the heart, although you were describing the Indiana Jones scene, I actually felt like a Dementor had descended on
Oh,
me.
that's good.
I pictured-
Dementor's
I
a
was
good
like,
image too. Yeah.
I pictured the Flash. He can
Oh, he does the hand vibrate?
phase his.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good images. I like that too. Well, I'm gonna actually give my spotlight to Kirk as well, because for the same reason, Kirk, I think you like really stepped up. That scene was like
Stepped
so
up.
good to play with, and it was like the perfect reflection that I needed for good role play in that moment. And that was like really fun to role play through with the two
Yeah,
of
it
us
was
kind of
intense.
yelling at each
Yeah,
other.
and I don't know if you did this on purpose, Adam, but as I was raging and insulting you, I mean, the listeners don't know this, but I'm looking straight into Adam's eyes. He's sitting right across the table from me, and so we're going like full on eye contact. You know, we're outside of a bar. We're two drunk douchebags saying, you know, you're a douche. No, you're a douche. But I could see in your facial expression that you were playing the character, but you also weren't actually angry. You know what I mean? Like I could sense that your demeanor wasn't actually threatened or aggressive. You were acting.
Sure.
And so that, I don't know if you do that on purpose or it's just a natural part of your nice nature or something.
That's probably the second one, but I'm glad that I think it is sort of an important role you have to do as a player at the table.
Yeah.
Especially when you are going to role play out conflict with other players at the table, and this obviously comes up as a game master, where you have to be able to dance a fine line, where
Right.
you have to make it clear that this is the character that I'm playing and not the player that I am.
Yeah, you're not sort of like channeling some actual aggression
Right,
toward
exactly.
that human being. You're playing a part. And
I have had times as a player at a table where I have sort of an agreed upon antagonism with another player at the table, and I'll role play out being angry and then pause midway through and be like, hey, I'm just playing the character. I just want to make you know I'm having a great time playing this character being angry at you. I'm gonna hop back into it now, and then go like right back into like playing,
you hug
playing
it
the
out
character.
and then
But
you keep going.
but like especially if I see them like looking scared in any way or like, and maybe that's just them being in character too, but I want to like make sure that it's a clear
cool.
contract that we
Right.
have going on with that.
I gotta say one more thing too. I really enjoyed there towards the end when there was a lot of improvisation that worked really well. Because so in my head I had this. I always try to think, okay, what would like poor dim-witted Grollo try to do that he thought was clever, right? And so in this case, I'm like, all right, well, he'll think, well, but he tries to be heroic too, right? So he's like, well, maybe I'll try to infiltrate, but that's as far as his planning goes, right? In fact, Thrain is like, well, then what? I'm like, I don't know, right? But then I like how then Shoosh, and actually you, Anna, you're like, well, what if we actually, play a little Star Wars here, like, you capture us, and then that plays into it. And then Grollo has another idiotic idea, which is like, well, what if we grab this guy? And then I actually was ready to like play that out, but then Thrain in character is like, well, no, that's a dumb idea. So like, okay, and then we drop that, and that's fine. And then we run into the dudes, and I actually feel in that moment, I'm supposed to be talking to these soldiers. And of course, if I was trying to be out of character, I would just make up some clever lie or something. But I'm trying to like be like, no, I gotta not know what to say. And I actually was feeling that anxiety of like, oh, I don't know what to say because I don't know what to say. It was really funny. So that whole part was like really good collaboration between all of us, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the key for the listeners out there as well is a good DM who sets up a good story over 9 sessions that carries weight with it. We have a mission. We care about each other as characters. We've come this far, and it comes, and it's not just a silly little moment where we're trying to trick these orcs. It's just like life or death
Yeah.
kind of a thing, right? And it held a lot of weight in that moment. And
And
so
it's
when you
hilarious.
turn to me and you're like, Thrain, what should I do?
Yeah.
I was actually role playing how
Right.
Kirk felt, which is like,
Right.
brain freeze. What? Like, I can't tell you what to do because
Again, then that realization, that's like, whoa, oh shit, they can't help me. Oh,
Yeah.
and it's so good.
Perfect.
Oh, so perfect.
Well, I think that brings us to a close.
Can
Yeah.
we do it again? Start over?
Can we just start this all over again?
Rewind.
So that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Thanks for joining us out there again. Sorry, patron Justin, for killing you. I tried to leave you alive, but Shoosh decided to
Yeah,
off
To
you.
be
Shoosh
fair,
is
I
brutal.
wanted to break your neck with my legs like Sonya Blade does to Kano in the Mortal Kombat feature film, but
He had a more, like, I don't know, less painful death, I guess.
yeah.
And if you want to be an NPC, let us know, and we'll add you to the list. We will go on a
Red shirts.
first come, first serve basis. And that does it for that episode. Please take care of yourself. Role play in a fun, meaningful way because
You deserve it.